All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All praises due. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Um, Today, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start this series where I'm reading out of some of the books that are probably not too popular, especially not a part of the 66 books of the Bible that we are familiar with. Not even the Apocrypha, the 14 books that they removed from the Bible a while back, but we still say it's canon. But these are what you call the lost books. You got to remember there was over 200 and some books written. There's a lot of books out there. But today I'm going to read a few chapters out of this book called The General Epistle of Barnabas. Barnabas was an apostle. He walked around with Paul back in the day. He was well known. And so he had some writings too. So we're gonna do a little reading out of his book. Probably just read maybe maybe the first couple of chapters just to see how it goes. Hope this be a blessing to you. All happiness to you, my son and daughters, in the name of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who loved us in peace. Having perceived abundance of knowledge of the great and excellent laws of power. I like to use the word power instead of God. Yeah, it just sounds better to me. To be in you. I exceedingly rejoice in your blessed and admirable souls, because ye have so worthily received the grace which was for which cause I am full of joy, hoping the rather to he saved, insomuch as I truly see a spirit infused into you from the pure fountain of power. Having this persuasion and being fully convinced thereof, because that since I have begun to speak unto you, I have had a more than ordinary good success in the way of either by preaching or fulfilling the same, the law of the Lord which is in Hamashiach. For which cause, brethren, I also think verily that I love you above my own soul, because that therein dwelleth the greatness of faith and charity, as also the hope of that life which is to come. Wherefore, considering this, that if I should take care to communicate to you a part of what I have received, it should turn to my reward, that I have served such good souls. I gave diligence to write in a few words unto you, that together with your faith, knowledge also may be perfect. There are therefore three things ordained by the Lord: the hope of life, faith, and charity, the beginning and the completion of it. For the Lord hath both declared unto us by the prophets those things that are past, and that is which are to be hoped for, and in love open to us the beginning of those that are to come. Wherefore it will behoove us, as he has spoken to come, he more honestly and more holier and nearer to his altar. I therefore, not as a teacher, but as one of you, will endeavor to lay before you a few things by which you may on many accounts become the more joyful. All praises. that power has abolished the legal sacrifice to introduce the spiritual righteousness of the gospel. See then, the days are exceedingly evil, and the adversary has got the power of this present world. We ought to give the more diligent to inquire into the righteous judgment of the Lord. Now, the assistance of our faith are fear and patience, our fellow combatants long suffering and continence. Whistle, these remain pure in what relates unto the Lord. Wisdom, understanding, science, and knowledge rejoice together with them. For power has manifested to us by all the prophets that he has no occasion for our sacrifice or burnt offering or oblations, saying thus, to what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of burnt offerings of rams and of fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of he goats. When you come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hands? Ye should no more tread my courts. Bring no more vain oblations, incense, and an abomination unto me. Your new moons and your Sabbath, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meetings, your new moons, your appointed feasts, my soul hated. In other words, man, the law is over with. The law of Moses is over with. That's what he's really trying to say here. All these sacrifices, all these observations of days and feasts and all that is done with when Yahushua came. So, can't get no clearer than that. These things, therefore, hath God abolished, that the new law of our Lord, the law of liberty, Yahushua Mashiach, which is without the yoke of any such necessity, might have the spiritual offering of men themselves. For so the Lord said again to those heretofore, did I at all command your fathers when they came out of the land of Egypt concerning burnt offerings of sacrifice? But this I commanded them, saying, let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For as much then as we are not without understanding, we ought to apprehend the design of our mercy, Father. For he speaks to us, being willing that we who have been in the same error about the sacrifices should seek and find how to approach unto him. And therefore he thus bespeaketh us, the sacrifice of power, a broken and contrite heart, power will not despise. Wherefore, brethren, we ought the more diligently to inquire after these things that belong to our salvation, that the adversary may not have an entrance unto us, and deprive us of our spiritual life. Wherefore he again speaketh to them concerning these things. Ye shall not fast as ye do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. Is it such a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this a fast, and an acceptable day to the Lord? But to us he said, on this wise, is not this the fast that I have chosen, to loosen the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke? Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house? When thou seekest the naked, that thou coverest him, that thou hide not thyself from thy own flesh. Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of the Lord shall be thy reward. Then shall thou call, and the Lord shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, Here I am. If thou put away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger and speaking vanity, and if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul. In this, therefore, brethren, power has manifested his foreknowledge and love for us, because the people which he had purchased to his beloved Son were to believe in sincerely, and therefore he has showed these things to us, to all of us, that we should not run as proselytes to the Jewish law. All praises to Yahweh. All praises due. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. So I'm going to end it right there. That was 2 chapters. We'll pick it up again with the 3rd chapter. Y'all have a blessed day.